The Aztec Empire is often remembered for its grandeur, its towering pyramids, its vast wealth of gold, and its mighty warriors who dominated ancient Mexico. But beneath the surface of this powerful civilization lay secrets so dark, so unsettling, that they challenge everything we think we know about the Aztecs. What drove them to commit acts that seem unthinkable today? Were they truly bloodthirsty tyrants, or were they simply following beliefs that made sense in their world? To understand the Aztecs, we must step into their world, a world where gods demanded blood, where war was sacred, and where death was a constant companion. The Aztecs began as a small, nomadic tribe, wandering the land in search of a home. According to legend, their god Huitzilopochtli told them to settle where they saw an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. When they found this sign on an island in Lake Texcoco, they built their great city, Tenochtitlan. From these humble beginnings, they rose to become the rulers of a vast empire, conquering neighboring tribes and demanding tribute. But their power came at a terrible price, one paid in human lives. At the heart of Aztec religion was the belief that the gods required blood to sustain the universe. Without it, the sun would not rise, crops would fail, and the world would end. To prevent this catastrophe, the Aztecs performed human sacrifices on a scale unmatched by any other civilization. Victims, usually prisoners of war, but sometimes slaves or even volunteers, were led up the steep steps of pyramids to the temple at the top. There, priests would hold them down on a stone altar, cut open their chests with an obsidian blade, and rip out their still-beating hearts. The bodies were then thrown down the steps, where they were sometimes dismembered or flayed. Some accounts even suggest that the flesh of sacrificial victims was ritually eaten, though scholars still debate whether this was a widespread practice or a myth spread by their enemies. War was not just a means of conquest for the Aztecs, it was a sacred duty. They fought what they called flower wars, battles not fought for land or riches, but solely to capture prisoners for sacrifice. These wars were carefully orchestrated, almost like ceremonial games, where the goal was not to kill the enemy, but to subdue them and bring them back alive. The most elite warriors, the eagle and jaguar knights, wore the skins of their animal totems and were feared across the land. To die in battle or on the sacrificial stone was considered an honor, a direct path to the afterlife. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of Aztec sacrifice was the fate of children. The rain god Tlaloc was said to require the tears of the young, so during times of drought, children were drowned in sacred pools or had their throats slit. Their weeping was seen as a good omen, a sign that rain would soon come. To modern eyes, this seems unimaginably cruel, but to the Aztecs, it was a necessary act to ensure the survival of their people. The Aztec Empire's downfall came swiftly and brutally. When the Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés arrived in 1519, he found an empire already weakened by internal strife and resentment from conquered tribes. The Aztecs' relentless demand for sacrificial victims had made them many enemies, and when Cortés offered an alliance, some tribes saw a chance to overthrow their oppressors. The Spanish, with their superior weapons and the devastating spread of smallpox, brought the empire to its knees. Tenochtitlan, once a city of wonders, was reduced to ruins, its temples torn down and its treasures looted. So were the Aztecs monsters, or were they simply a people acting according to their beliefs? It's easy to judge them from a modern perspective, but their world was one of constant fear of the gods' wrath, fear of nature's unpredictability, fear of the end of all things. Their sacrifices, as horrifying as they seem, were meant to keep the world in bounds. In their eyes, they were not committing acts of cruelty, but acts of necessity. The legacy of the Aztecs is a complex one. They were brilliant architects, skilled astronomers, and fierce warriors. Their capital was one of the largest and most advanced cities in the world at the time. Yet their dark rituals cast a long shadow over their achievements. Perhaps the greatest lesson we can take from their story is that every civilization has its secrets, its contradictions, its moments of both greatness and brutality. The Aztecs were no different, so the next time you hear about the Aztec Empire, remember that history is never simple. Behind the gold and the glory, there were sacrifices, wars, and beliefs that seem alien to us today. But understanding these dark secrets doesn't diminish the Aztecs, it makes them all the more fascinating. They were a people shaped by their time, their gods, and their unshakable conviction that blood was the price of survival. And in that, they were not so different from many other civilizations throughout history. The only difference is the scale, the spectacle, and the stories that still send chills down our spine centuries later.
Hey there, if you're enjoying this video and appreciate the effort behind it, don't forget to like this video. It really helps the channel grow, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss an update. Oh, and one more thing, share this video with your friends. Spread the love and support. Alright, now let's get back to the video. Let me know if you want any tweaks.